And welcome back to another GACC Podcast, where we discuss games, anime, computers, and collectibles, but not always all that in 1 week. I'm your host, Harrison, and to my left,
Boss Pander.
And to my right,
James.
And we're going to talk about all the events that happened during this last week. So, James, is there anything you would like to start with this week?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with Apple.
Oh, Apple.
Apple removing the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack from the new iPhone 7, or at least that's what they are planning to do.
Well, I think they already are because they already showed it off.
Well, they didn't say, they did say they were thinking about doing it. They haven't done it yet. Now, they're saying that they're removing it because it's to make it thinner and waterproof. That's their reasoning, and also to help their sales in wireless. So you have a wireless wireless experience instead of tangled headphones. But they are going to give you a headphone adapter, so a little adapter you plug into the bottom of the charging port, which will allow you to use traditional headphones for those who can't use Bluetooth.
Any idea what this cost is going to be on this new adapter, or have they not talked about that?
The adapter is free. Now, if you want the adapter that charges your Bluetooth headphone and does it at both of them, that one's $40.
$40 to charge your Bluetooth?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the little adapter to charge the Bluetooth and use your 3.5 millimeter headphones.
Okay.
So that's to charge it, because it's an adapter that charges your Bluetooth device, and that's $40.
Shouldn't a charger come with your Bluetooth?
Generally, yes, a charger does come with your Bluetooth. I have a Bluetooth headphones, and it's just an adapter, and I plug it in.
So basically, they're turning the phone into a battery pack for the Bluetooth. Is what I'm hearing.
The adapter is. But yes, they are turning the phone into a charger for the Bluetooth.
Okay. And they're doing this, looks like, on both the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Now, my question here, and this is just me. I'm not an Apple person, and I don't hate Apple people. I don't. That's your choice. I had Apple at one point, and I was okay with it. My thing is, so Sony made a waterproof phone. Samsung made a waterproof phone. And neither one of them had to remove a 3.5 millimeter jack. So I know they're trying to come up with new ideas before everyone else. But you're telling me that you had to remove it to make it thinner and waterproof. How does removing a 3.5 millimeter jack make it waterproof? I mean, maybe space? I don't know. That's just me.
Maybe space.
So nothing gets in the little bitty hole.
Well,
but then again, they still have to have a charger hole.
And you're going to have the same problems because I get it. It's old technology, but the adapter can break. You can lose the adapter.
Yeah, because it's going to be charging. It's going to be the Thunderbolt port, and I can see why they're doing it to a point, because a lot of people end up having Bluetooth headsets nowadays. But there are plenty of places, industry-wise, where you still can't have Bluetooth. One of the things that you have issues with is typically government, and they have a decent presence. Apple's been trying to expand into the government, so now they've kind of ostracized out that. Well, with the adapter, you can still use it, but it's still going to lower that downside. For the average consumer, though, a lot of them do use Bluetooth versus 3.5 inch.
But the adapter's not where that adapter's just a charger. The Bluetooth's still on the phone.
Well, yeah, but the Bluetooth has been in the phone. So,
exactly.
So that's fine. But the fact is that you're needing an extra adapter to do the 3.5 millimeter for headphones.
Why?
I think hurts it a little.
Yeah, that's what I'm not understanding, because I get where they're coming from, but why? Why? There's been phones out there who've done the same thing without removing the 3.5 millimeter jack. Why remove it? Just because you want to have the edge up on everyone? It's like when they did it with their Apple, their iMacs. They removed the CD drive. I mean,
it's taking away something, not adding something to it. So
it's. I mean, I get it. It's old. We have to keep up with modern technology. I get that, but it's really not. You can't really look at the people and say we're doing this to make it waterproof. But there's phones out there that already exist that are waterproof, and none of them are really waterproof. They're water resistant to a certain feet. And there's already phones out there that have water resistance phones that didn't require the removal of any hardware.
Right. I don't know. I think it's going to be a dumb move. Just because of, for a couple of reasons. Like I said, one is government. The other is, the fact is you have a lot of audio stuff. There's people that use the phones as a mobile recording studio, and the adapter may get in the way and cause some compatibility issues that way versus being able to plug straight into the phone. And the adapter's not waterproof, I would guess.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. The adapter's not waterproof, and you don't get the $40 one for free. You get the little tiny adapter, and that's not a charger.
Right.
So if you want to charge a Bluetooth, you have to pay an additional $40. What I think it is, and this is just... Actually, I don't really think this. I've been told this. That it's basically them just trying to sell the Beats Audio. Because they're probably going to come out with a headphone that only works with iPhones. Well, at least that's what some people have told me. I don't think that's true either, because I'm like, nah, I doubt that.
I don't know. It is Apple.
That is Apple. That sounds very Apple-y.
It sounds very Apple-y. It
does sound very
Apple-y. They bought that from Dr. Dre. They probably just make their own version just for Apple products only.
Right. I could definitely see that. But, you could always... Phones without headphone jacks.
Well, yeah, they do have Bluetooth headphones right now. Yeah, iPhone headphones looks like tiny little toothbrushes. The tip of the toothbrushes that you plug in your ear. Yeah, it's $160 for those.
But
you can use any Bluetooth. Like before my Bluetooth broke, I used that as my headphone with my phone.
Yeah, I had Bluetooth glasses actually, the little shade ones. It has like little earbuds on the side.
So it's just like poop.
Yeah, but I can't see spending $650 on a standard iPhone 7 or almost about $770 on the iPhone 7 Plus, and then having to spend an extra $40 on an adapter
to charge it. Remember, they gave you a free adapter for the standard.
Right. But, it's... And then Bluetooth headsets are more expensive too.
Bluetooth headsets have always been expensive.
Yeah.
Well, not really, no. I only spent $30 on my Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah. There's plenty of college kids I see going around still with regular corded, headsets plugged into their phones because it doesn't drain the battery as much as Bluetooth does.
Exactly.
So,
and there are some cases, like you were saying, you can't have Bluetooth.
Yeah. So, I think it's a silly...
I think so too, because I understand they've removed things from their products. Like I said, the iMac, they removed the CD drive.
Right.
Because no one really uses CDs anymore. I get that.
Yeah, that kind of made sense because it was they still removed it a little early, but they at least have the super drive that you can plug into the USB port that you could purchase. Though theirs was like $100, like super drive that was mechanism loaded.
Yeah.
Versus you can buy a $30 one USB, and other people like Lenovo does it. Was it the new Dell's Precision 7710 17-inch workstation laptop has no optical drive now
because there's no need.
Right.
But there's also they've done this before too when they removed the was it MacBook Air, they don't have an Ethernet port on it.
Yeah. But can you, with theirs, because it is Apple after all, can you actually use one of those external disk drives and plug it in?
Yeah.
Is it going to work with it?
As long as you have Mac software, I don't see why not.
As long as it says it supports Mac OS, sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
As long as it's supported by Mac OS.
Sometimes it doesn't, but the optical drive one's just a more of an example than anything else.
And the Ethernet port on the on the MacBook Air.
But yeah, I still don't know how I feel about this.
I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me because I don't own an iPhone. I probably never will. I had one before. I was okay with it. I'm happy with my LG phone.
So it looks like the iPhone 7 is also going to end up having They're catching up to the industry in a few other areas, though.
That's good.
As it looks like looks like they have a 12 megapixel camera on the iPhone 7.
Yes, I did see the comparisons. They have a better camera, and that's why I like it. But that is good.
Well, and they're also on the iPhone 7 Plus. They're putting in like a dual camera system, so two 12 megapixel cameras on it, and they can finally capture in RAW format. This is stuff that Android devices have been able to do for a while, and I believe you have the LG. Which LG do you have, James?
V10.
V10. I think that has dual cameras on the back of it already. So
I mean, it's not like a big deal, but it's a fact that they're at 12 and most of the others are at 10.
What exactly would you do with a dual camera? I don't know. Maybe this is a dumb question for, I don't know, maybe everybody out there is going like, you're kidding, right? But I'm thinking, don't you only need one camera at a time?
Well, you're right for the most part. You only need one camera at a time typically. The dual camera is to give you a more panoramic shot. Basically, it's they're pointed in such a way that you get a larger
so you get the wide view.
Yeah, you get a lot wider view
now,
with it.
Okay.
I'm not just going to bash on Apple because... Yeah, dog wants to talk too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bash
like, I am.
Apple, right? So, because I did look at this best comparison. Apple does have more memory than most other phones that are coming out. Because it goes up to 256 gigabytes. Except Apple doesn't allow for external storage. But a lot of people don't use that, though.
Not true. Because
I mean, some people do, but the people who don't, that would be good for them.
I have like 100. Faust has 128 gig storage in his phone plus the 64 that's built in. I have another 64 gig sitting in my phone, besides what's built in. So it is.
But here's the thing, though, is
beneficial.
So theirs doesn't allow for external. But theirs goes up to 256 gigabytes. Now, the competitors like the Sony and LG, I saw all the other new phones like the V20. That one allows up to 128 gigabytes external storage. But the internal storage only goes up to 64. Now, if the internal storage matched Apple's, then I could say, yeah, that's a good thing. But they're both the same, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's just whether if you want to have an external storage device, you can remove it or have it internal. So it's not like Apple's not doing anything bad by not allowing external storage space. They're both the same. In fact, Apple has 256 gigabytes, and the most you could put in the other phones is only... Actually, no, 256 gigabytes. So you see what I mean? It's kind of like if you add 128 and then the 64 or whatever, you can come close to that, or maybe my math's bad, but you see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
So it's just...
Well,
I like the fact that they allow up to 256 gigabytes of storage. The dog wants to agree.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to say something positive, all right? Positive.
So, oh my gosh. I think the other issue is with the iPhone stuff is this is the first time the company has said that they are not releasing
the specs.
Not the specs on the phone itself, but the pre-orders. Yeah.
Oh, their sales numbers like they usually do.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we already know it's going to sell out.
That I don't like either. The arrogance is kind of that. Sorry, that is arrogant. Maybe I'm wrong, but that sounds kind of arrogant. I know you guys are going to buy it.
Well, they don't even tell you how many they actually made.
Would you like to cut?
All right. So the other thing was, the iPhones and the fact that they weren't releasing their sales figures. And part of it is they're claiming arrogance, basically, that we already know that they're going to sell out, so we don't have to do this. I think that part of it is actually they're going to, I think they're going to actually not sell as much because there's been a typical trend that the phones are, the odd number phones don't do as well as their even number phones because the odd number phones have typically been where they've tried to push some advancements and then they refine it.
So you mean kind of like, Windows XP, then Windows Vista, which is crap, and then Windows 7, and then Windows 8. You mean like that? The odd numbers there?
Right. Yeah.
Actually, that's not really hard because 8, but whatever. You get the idea. Every other operating system in Windows has been crap too. So, but I still think it's arrogant though.
Yeah, and it heads off some stock issues too from a business standpoint, because if they don't meet the basically the 10 million devices sold for the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus that they sold last time, people are going to go, oh, Apple's failing, because already Tim Cook is taking a lot of criticism.
So my point about this is a lot of Apple fanboys, as you would call them, are upset about this. Not just Apple people. A lot of people are upset about this, and I'm like, why? There's no need to be upset about it. Because I understand, and there's people who can't use Bluetooth, and I'm like, then use the adapter that they gave it to you. Mm-hmm. But there's a side of me that goes, why are they doing this? Because probably to up their sales on their Bluetooth headphones, and also the Bluetooth adapter they invented. We all know that now. At least that's my theory, is that's why they're doing it, so they could sell their headphones and the adapter, because they made it and they want you to buy it.
Yeah.
And then people are getting upset and hung up over this one thing, and I'm like, there's other things though. There's it has more storage space than the previous phone. It has a better camera than the previous phone. It's now caught up to the other ones that has dual cameras. Stop focusing on one minor thing. I mean, yes, they removed it, but they removed the Ethernet port on the laptop. They removed the CD drives from the desktops. They do this.
Well, part of it is, it's not Steve Jobs telling you that it's magical and wonderful and innovative. It's Tim Cook. And really, Apple, everything else in it was just more of a catch-up. They weren't really doing... This is the only thing they had to present. Usually when Apple in the past had presented stuff, they had done a lot more than just that.
Yeah, that's true. But this time they did. Look at the phone, though. It has, like I said, better camera, more storage space. But it's thinner. It's water resistant.
But they're trying to catch up with the industry, too.
And that's fine. That's fine if they're catching up with the industry. That they're actually catching up. And they're not just saying we're trying to catch up and they release a half-ass phone. They're actually releasing a decent iPhone. I'm not saying I'm going to spend $700 on one.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as a decent iPhone.
I don't do iPhones. So.
But you get my point, though.
Right.
Like I've seen everybody, even on my Facebook page, people were battling on this thing. They were just back and forth. I'm like, it's one thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if you can't use a Bluetooth? Then don't use it. Use the adapter. But at the same time, I'm like, but I also get their side though, because I'm like, no, this person has a point. Why do this? You see what I mean? But that's enough about my rant about that. So what about you? Anything you like to share?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the big things that's been going around this week is apparently there's been rumors that Grand Theft Auto 6 was going to get announced along with it looks like another Red Dead
Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Grand Theft Auto Horse.
Yes. And apparently that's not actually happened.
Well, yeah, the Red Dead Redemption is just a re-release for PC. That's all it is. That's at least what I found. I haven't heard of any new Red Dead Redemptions.
Yeah, but they did not unveil any details for Grand Theft Auto 6 like what was going around the internet. So it was kind of interesting because they had talked about Grand Theft Auto 6 a little at that it was in the works, at least at E3, but they were talking like it was going to get announced, and Red Dead Redemption were going to get announced, but I don't think we're going to see those right now at any time soon. And it looks like rumor now is that you're looking at 2018 to 2020 for Grand Theft Auto 6. So right now, I guess basically all the rumors we heard this last week were bogus. Yeah.
I'm not sad.
You're not sad?
No.
Me either.
Red Dead Redemption was kind of boring.
I don't
And I'm not really a fan of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I don't play the.
I watched my roommate
so.
play it, and I laughed at him die a lot. I'm like, wasted. That was funny to watch.
Well,
to see him try to steal an airplane from a base, and I got shot down. Well, yeah, that would also happen in real life, too.
Right.
You try to go into a military base and try to steal a jet, they're going to shoot you.
Yeah. But, it's one of those things where it's like, where are we at? We're at about 4 years. Mm-hmm. And if they announced, it probably wouldn't be till next year or the year after. So we'd be about 5 or 6 years in from the last release, which would still be a good amount of time. It is interesting to hear that Rockstar's still saying that, no, we're focused on supporting Grand Theft Auto 5 and the multiplayer. But 4 years... no DLC. It's just been a push on the multiplayer side. So there's a lot of us that are disappointed from a single player aspect because they had a really good single player story, and the fact that they're not continuing to pursue that, it's kind of disappointing. With the last one, was it Grand Theft Auto 4? We had what? Was that the Ballad of Gay Tony one?
Dude, I don't know. Again, I don't play Grand Theft Auto. Is that the one where I don't know?
I'm not talking to you anymore.
Is that the one where they steal the car and run over the old lady? Oh no, it's the one where they beat some guy up with a bat.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I've not played that one. Sorry. Last one I played was Grand Theft Auto 3.
Right.
And I didn't even play that one.
Well, that's so basically, folks, nothing on Grand Theft Auto 6 right now. Even the rumors about Eva Mendes potentially being the protagonist, it's all just rumors and nothing's been confirmed. Worst thing is we got to wait longer and talk about it again.
Now, speaking of games, I've been playing the heck out of a very interesting game.
What's that?
It's called Enter the Gungeon.
Oh.
Gungeon.
Yep. So you've played Rogue Legacy, right? You know what Rogue Legacy is about?
Yeah.
So this is kind of reminds me of a Rogue Legacy, except it's not. It's not like it's kind of reminds me of it because of the random dungeons that you get. Uh-huh. So this one is Enter the Dungeon. Gungeon. Sorry. And so you get to play 4 different characters. The 5th one's 2-player mode.
Okay.
And so you go into this dungeon full of guns, and you get to fight bullets.
So, because you're fighting a dungeon full of guns.
Yep.
You fight the bullets, or you fight with bullets?
Each bad guy is a bullet. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And so it's 3D. Obviously, it's not side scroll like the other one. And your whole thing is to, so far as I know, is just see how far you can get in the story.
So when you say 3D, you mean like first person 3D, or are we talking 3D isometric perspective?
Top view. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not side scroller like Rogue Legacy.
So it's more like 3D isometric perspective.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yeah. And so I played it. I've been playing it for about a good few hours now. I beat the first chapter.
Good few hours?
Yeah.
A few hours.
Okay.
Well, it's like 3 hours. And it's fun. It is fun because you go through the dungeon, you get guns as you go on. It's not like Rogue Legacy where you have to unlock a character because the characters are already unlocked, as far as I've known so far. And it might be other characters. But then you go through it and you find a treasure chest and it has a gun in it. And you use that gun to defeat this bad guys in it. And you get to swap through different types of guns.
So you shoot the ammo with ammo.
Yes. And it is awesome. My favorite one is the fireball.
So ammo kills ammo?
And there's books in there that they're like wizard books. And they shoot like fireballs at you. It's kind of cool. And then essentially, if you die, you start all over again. And it randomizes the dungeon. So it's not the same. It's not the same. And each character has different guns.
Keep going.
Each character has different guns, and each character has different abilities. Like you have the Marine, the Space Marine, and so you start off with that, your helmet. The helmet gives you armor, so if something hits you, it knocks everything back. If you get damaged, that's a one-time thing. You lose the helmet, and then you go on, and you have the Space Marine's handgun. You start off with one handgun that's infinite ammo, but you only have like 5 shots in it, and you have to reload it. So it's kind of like tricky, like 4 or 5 shots.
Well, how is it? How is 5 shots infinite ammo?
No, you have 5 shots, but infinite ammo. You have 5 rounds. It's like a revolver, essentially.
Oh, so you gotta just...
Yeah, essentially. And so you have the Space Marine, you have the pilot. I only played the pilot a little bit, and you have a prisoner, I guess, an escape con or something like that, and she's all right. I like the hunter. Because the hunter has a tiny little pug pet that goes around with you and collects stuff. And that one's the coolest character because you get a crossbow that has limited ammo, but it does 1 shot on a lot of the bad guys. And then you have, of course, like I said, the starter gun. And then you pick up guns as you go, and each one looks different and fires different ammo, and it does a lot more damage or less damage. And the bosses are just like Rogue Legacy, where it's just some obscene boss. You go into a room, and the first boss I fought was a gun-toting crow. Which essentially it had a giant chain gun, like Arnold Schwarzenegger style, like, grrr. And so the bird lands, the crow lands, and he goes, pah, turns to Muscle Beef Man.
Okay.
Fight him.
So enter the gungeon.
Yep.
Oh, right.
And you could play 2 players with another person.
So you can do 2 players. Well,
Co-op.
that's good.
Co-op.
You could play with yourself or you could play with someone else.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the co-op gets to play as a cultist. And, yeah. So, yeah, the cultist is really cool because, like you played Call of Cthulhu and all that stuff?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, you get a tiny little cultist person. You know who Raven is from Teen Titans?
No.
Okay, then never mind then. She doesn't know who Raven is from Teen Titans.
No.
Do you know who Raven is from Teen Titans?
Yeah, but, it doesn't matter.
The second player looks like a tiny little raven
Okay.
from Teen Titans.
So it looks like a person with a hood.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
cool. But anyways, enough about that. I just wanted to, share that game with everyone if you ever want to try it. I got it on sale for $9 on Steam.
No.
So it's on sale this week?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Was it on sale this week?
It was on sale.
Okay, so it was on sale this week. Got it.
Not
Oh,
anymore.
God.
Okay. Well, so
Yes, Mr. Harrison.
you wanted to talk about the Pokemon Watch
yes.
since we're talking about
Well,
games,
there's
right?
the Pokemon Watch and the PlayStation 4, but I think I'll go, since you brought it up, the Pokemon, I guess it's called a watch, meter thing. It looks like a little watch.
A watch meter thing?
Yeah. You wear it on your wrist.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
And it looks basically like a little Pokeball. And they don't quite have it out. It's supposed to be out sometime within the next week, I believe.
September 16th.
16th, okay.
Yeah.
So,
What's its purpose?
So you could put your phone in your pocket, on your clip, whatever, and if you go past a Pokemon or a stop or anything, it's going to vibrate. Well, my phone, if I walk past a Pokemon, also vibrates, but I guess when you go by the stop, you could just push the little button on it. It's going to spin the stop. You're going to get your stuff. Nice. That part is pretty cool. What I don't understand is also you don't have to pull your phone out of your pocket or off your clip and look at it to catch Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember they were talking about that.
Yeah, because apparently you could also push the button for that. Well, how do you know if you've caught the Pokemon?
It's only ones that you've previously caught.
Okay.
So if I caught Rattata, because that's all there is out there.
Yeah.
There's Rattata and Pidgey. I can go, Rattata.
So it becomes easy mode for recapturing the ones that you've already captured, so you don't have to sit there and throw balls at them again.
Yeah, so you can grind them from candy.
Okay, but are you automatically? I mean, it doesn't say, what I read, it doesn't say if you automatically catch them every time you push the button, or if it's going to warn you if you didn't catch it with that ball. So,
I think it's going to automatically catch them.
So that's sort of a cheater watch.
Well, you had to have already catched it, though.
Once.
If it's not going to do it to like a new one.
Yeah.
But that's what she's saying. It's kind of a cheater watch because,
but it could be pretty much anything.
You can evolve pretty easily because all you have to do is walk around and go click, 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 and then get enough candy.
Yeah, because, your typical Pokemon, even if you caught before, you still got to throw balls at it, and there's a chance you can miss.
Yeah, even a Pidgey can go, up
I'm
yours and I'm out.
Yeah.
But also, what if you've caught a really good Pokemon in the past?
That's true.
I mean, you can just
and then you got another one.
Hey.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I could see like if you're driving, so you don't want to, of course, be looking at your phone, or you're riding your bike, jogging, whatever. That could, warn you there's a Pokemon or a stop near. That's great. But then at that point, shouldn't for a Pokemon you should have to pull.
Either.
If you're going like this and it goes buzz, you could just be like this.
Also, you got to remember they have the app that comes up with a message that interrupts it and goes,
"Yeah,
you're driving.
You're not
too
driving,
fast."
are you?
So it's gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to do it while driving anyways.
I mean, if you're on your bike or something, I mean, that's pretty cool. True. And I could see for the little stops, I just think like for catching the Pokemon, that's sort of cheater mode. It is pretty cool though.
That is cool.
It is cool that you don't have to be like, to look at it.
I want him to I want a visor from Dragon Ball Z, the little visors. You can go dee, 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 and then have Pokemon catch it that way. That'd be cool.
No.
That way you could just be like, there it is.
That's called the Microsoft HoloLens, sir.
No.
Yes.
No. HoloLens is like covering your entire face.
How much was it? 40, 50, something like that?
It didn't have a price on it.
Oh, I thought the story had a price on it.
No, it was like
40 or $50.
$50 for something extra to put on your list.
But no, Dragon Ball Z visor, which clips on the side and there's a little thin glass, versus the thing that's covering your entire eyes like Geordie LaForge.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think that's HoloLens still better than Google Glass.
Well, of course it is. Google Glass doesn't even exist
Google
anymore.
Glass still was just one, and it still technically does exist.
Does it?
It technically still exists.
I couldn't use any of that.
I remember watching the shows for that. Where, like this TV show I was watching, she's like, "Yeah, I've been watching porn the entire time." I'm like, God, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I thought it was humorous, is so John McAfee is trying to get back into running a business again, and he got smacked down because he wanted to call it John McAfee Global Technologies for the company he's currently working with, and they announced that he was going to come on and everything. Intel's lawyers intervened and said, no, you can't name it McAfee. You do not have the rights to that name, because when you sold McAfee back in 1991 and Intel purchased it, he had given up the rights to the name McAfee.
His last name?
The name.
Okay.
So
but that's
Intel owns the trademark McAfee. So because John McAfee's trying to, change the name of a security company to John McAfee, it interferes with the trademark McAfee for a security company.
Not really, because he's making it John McAfee.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The word McAfee is trademarked by Intel now.
Yeah. And
he can name it John M and have like a little circle going around his M, like a little global thing going around the M. He could do that. It would look stupid, but he could do that.
Yeah, and when he sold his assets, part of it was, he forfeited any right to use the McAfee name in connection with security solutions and services. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is he is trying to do a security company, service. Mm-hmm. So it causes confusion, and that's what a lot of trademark. When you have a legitimate trademark, that's what it's supposed to do.
Use McAfee though?
Apparently not. That's why Intel's trying to sell it.
People still use McAfee.
No, it still comes on computers.
Now I could see why you're saying it's hilarious, because that is hilarious.
Yes. So right now, John McAfee has currently filed a lawsuit against Nintendo, or not Nintendo, Intel.
I was like, wow, what did Nintendo have to do with this? He's like, you know what? I'm so upset. I'm suing Nintendo.
Yeah. So he's basically having to sue to prove that he still owns his name.
But he's going to lose because he sold the company to them. Well, I don't know if he's going to lose or not. I can't say he's going to lose.
As well as things that comes down to it, he said, she said, basically because he sold, because...
is it in writing?
Supposedly. But the problem is because... McAfee was sold to a different group and then sold to Intel, and that's where it gets a little hairy. And he says that, no, I retained the rights to my name. But again, this is
If it's sold to a different group, then when that group sells it, then he sold it to that group. What he did only applies to that group. It doesn't apply to the group after that.
Not necessarily. It still can, especially with trademarks. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, it's going to be an uphill battle if he wins it back. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just think it's really funny that John McAfee
has to sue to get his last name so he can use it in the company. That is funny.
That is funny.
I'm sorry, James, but somebody else is already named James.
Actually,
we're going to have to give you a different name. We have 2 Jameses on our team.
I can't use my last name in a company. Johnson & Johnson.
No, you can.
But you could just be Johnson.
Johnson's... What kind of business would I open?
We'll just call you Johnson.
Johnson's Fried Chicken and Beer.
Oh, boy.
That sounds like a good one.
Wow. So, other things that got announced this week was the PlayStation 4 Pro and the PlayStation 4 Slim. And I think you have some opinions on this, right?
Yeah, because they said the reasoning behind the Pro was because they had a lot of console users moving away from consoles to use computers.
PC Master Race.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
glorious PC Master Race.
Yes, they were trying to bring people back to the console. Well, the problem with it is that they're saying, well, we're doing that by upping, our resolution. We got a better picture, this, that, something else. But they're not saying, hey, you could use a mouse and keyboard to run this game. Okay.
What?
Well,
you can't.
Yeah, you can. You can plug it into the USB port. Did you not know that?
That was one of the things that they announced with the PS4 Pro. I didn't realize that they announced and said, look, you can use a mouse and keyboard now.
But you can.
Did they?
But you can always do that, though.
Because I didn't hear about that.
My PS3 allowed a keyboard.
They did, but maybe I'm misunderstanding you, because it sounded like you said that they announced that you could plug a mouse and keyboard into using the PS4. So
no, that's not what.
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm just saying the setup when you're sitting there. It's the type of games. You're not going to play the same type of games on your computer. If you're sitting there playing an RPG, you're going to sit on your computer and play an RPG
Tell that to the Destiny people or the Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 designed it around a controller, though. That's a big difference. World of Warcraft did not design it around a controller. Final Fantasy 14 allowed it to be controller or keyboard. They specifically said you can use either or because they had it on PS4 and they wanted, and the way they have it set up, I could play with a guy who's playing on his PS4. It's all the same server.
I can't see, if I have a choice, and there are some that are sold to go on console or on your computer, like Diablo, you can play either.
Yeah, because
I'm going to choose to use that on my computer. I'm not going to sit there with a controller to play Diablo.
Well, I mean, there's more to it than this.
I'm going to sit there like this.
So the argument really is not
like this.
The argument here is not really the type of controller you're using. Okay, the problem is that the PCs have typically higher frame rates. And they have higher graphics, because you're going to do 4K on the computers at 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, and that's where the PlayStation Pro is trying to pick up, because the PS4 Pro is going to have HDR, high dynamic range, so it's supposed to give a prettier, more colorful picture. You're supposed to be able to do 4K. You're supposed to be able to do 60 frames per second.
Nice.
And that's really what they're going for. Also, the Pro is designed to give you a better experience with the Sony VR unit that's going to be coming out, at running at the higher frames per second, which is supposed to help reduce motion sickness from all the studies, that the more frames you have, the less likely they are to get motion sickness.
You're going to vomit in the middle of playing your game.
Well,
right.
that would be a good thing for someone like me that gets seizures and stuff, so that may help, because at the moment I'm thinking that VR thing may not be a good idea for people that have seizures. You know, I don't know how I would react to something like that. So that might help with that. But I'm just thinking, you know, I play different games on the console than I do on my computer. It's not going to make me more likely to play this same game that I would play on my computer on the console.
Well, you know, this is more trying to keep them within that realm of the graph. They're trying to help move the graphics to match more of the PCs, because what happens every console generation is they bring out the console, and by the end of the console generation, usually a console generation, you know, is about 7 years typically, the graphics are dramatically worse than they are on the PC. You are playing it on the console because of the simplicity of being able to stick in a disc,
turn it on and play it.
But there are that is happening less and less and less as these devices are getting closer to the PC, especially with the online playing and the connectivity that way. And a lot more of the PC games are starting to be able to just use controllers also.
And all,
yeah. So and the games are getting a little bit better about their setups. So they had to basically do a mid-cycle refresh. We're talking basically 3 years since the launch of the PlayStation 4. Now they're coming out with the PlayStation Pro in November of this year. That's going to raise the graphics again, but they're saying that even if you have the original PlayStation, you're still going to play the same games as on the PlayStation 4 or 4 Slim that you can play on the Pro. It's just going to be that any games that are specifically designed for the Pro are going to have better quality graphics, and they are going to just re-downscaled, and that can be, instead of 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second. It could be, you know, instead of doing like close to 4K or 2K, you're going to be doing like 1080p or 720p.
Yeah,
and that's how they're going to be getting around that. So it's a weird time for consoles.
Oh no!
Yeah, I used to be a console person, and then I found the PC Master Race.
Yeah.
Or actually, the PC Master Race found me.
I don't know. You could sit me there with the Atari, and I'm going to sit there and play Mrs. Pac-Man or, you know, Centipede or something on the Atari.
You don't care about.
That's not the thing for me. That's not what it's about for me when I'm sitting there playing on the console,
right,
or the computer.
Well, let's let everybody in the audience in on a dirty little secret. Okay,
you haven't bathed. I'm sorry, I had to.
No, but there are
covers it well.
But there are a lot of people that feel that, you know, that the PC users are the great unwashed sometimes. But the thing is, if you have a good PC, you know, and you're using that, if you want to go sit in the living room, you can go get a Steam Link and spend $50. And you can go couch game just like the console people, especially nowadays, because there's very, very few exclusives. The exclusives are becoming so much less. And you can hook up your controller, you can play it 60 frames per second, and you can just stream it across your network, and you're running the graphics from your PC.
That's true.
So, you know, these are the things that the console market's getting scared of.
Or you could buy a laptop, like the Predator 21-inch laptop.
And play on that, right?
And play on that.
You know,
no, I'm just kidding. I don't have that one. That'd be cool to have that because it's not out yet.
It's not even out yet.
I think I actually let out a dirty little secret of how old I am when I said something about playing on the Atari, though.
There's nothing wrong with playing the Atari.
We had an Atari when I was growing up.
Well,
I think my mom owned that.
One other thing.
The Atari was the new thing I was young.
One other thing here in regards to the PlayStation 4, and I smell lawsuits over this. So
you smell.
He did say it. So, but what's his lawsuit about?
Anyways, so I smell lawsuits potentially coming. So when Fallout 4 was announced, you know, one of the things that they talked about at E3, and it was all talked about, was that there was going to be mods.
Yes.
Not just on the PC, but they're going to make the mods available for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. mods have come out for the Xbox One for the most part.
Yep.
So they are working there. But apparently they've not come out for the PS4. And now Bethesda is saying that Sony will not allow Skyrim or Fallout 4 mods on the PS4. So I don't know if they're already trying to hedge their bets, because there was just an update to the website today where Bethesda just said on, looks like it was September 10th, this like very, very recent. They said that Sony will not allow them to enable the user mods the way they should work.
But they want you to use the PlayStation 4 because they don't want you playing on the computer. But then they tell you no mods. So you're like, well, screw you. I'm going to go play on the computer.
Yeah.
Or I can mod it.
Or you can go play over on the Xbox One where you can do mods within, some of the mods. But the PC still has more. And apparently their Skyrim Remastered, when it's going to be launched in October, is also going to allow mods on the Xbox One. This is presumed right now. So we'll have to see what ends up happening here. But the actual full statement from Bethesda on this, and give me a minute here, I'll actually read this. After months of discussion with Sony, we regret to say that while we have long been ready to offer mod support on PlayStation 4, Sony has informed us that they will not approve user mods the way they should work, where users can do anything they want for their Fallout 4 or Skyrim Special Edition. Like you, we are disappointed by Sony's decision, given the considerable time and effort we put into this project and the amount of time our fans have waited for mod support to arrive. We consider this an important initiative, and we hope to find other ways users mods can be available for the PlayStation audience. However, until Sony will allow us to offer proper mod support for the PlayStation 4, the content for Fallout 4 and Skyrim on PS4 will not be available. We will provide an update if and when the situation changes. So, because Bethesda is actually calling out Sony on this, saying they're the bad guys. They're either setting up Sony to, have to give in because the audience is going to go rabble, 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 rabble. Or this is hedging their bets if there's a class action lawsuit because, it was announced in E3 that we're going to have mods on the consoles. And it was talked about with the PS4 and the Xbox One. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see what happens here in the next couple of weeks. If Sony budges, or if we're going to get more mudslinging back the other way.
Man, there's been a lot of lawsuits going on this last month, hasn't there?
I mean, how can you really sue somebody for that, though?
False advertising.
Yeah.
Because I bought the game because
I wanted to mod it, and I bought the PS4 version because I have a PS4.
If you have that, for that version.
Now you're telling me you're not going to allow mods, and I just wasted money.
Yeah. So that's where that's going to come down to. I mean, that's where they're going to get at. It's not that because there's a feature that's not actually there. It's and we're going to end up seeing basically what Sony does. So we're getting close to time. So do we have anything quick from that anybody wants to discuss? Basically, in a quick format.
I'm happy that I didn't discuss anime from 2015 with Faust while he was here.
Okay.
Because that is apparently the entirety of 2015. A lot of the anime was Ones He Hates, High School, Conquering Love, and all that.
Well, if that's
2016 is different, but
if that's all you get in 2015, of course, there's going to be a lot of hate.
That's it.
One quick thing I have here is for anybody that's been around gaming for a while and knows about the history of Interplay. Apparently, Interplay is now finally selling off their intellectual property. So they did the original Fallouts, and they got into snafus with that with Bethesda, but now Bethesda owns the Fallout series. Now Interplay is selling off Earthworm Jim, Descent, Free Space, and some more. No, Battletoads would be Rare.
I thought that was him.
No.
Because it did say Battletoads in there.
It didn't say Battletoads.
I thought it did.
No.
Okay.
Does not say
all
Battletoads.
those games suck.
Wow. Clay Fighter, Battle Chess. Battle Chess is awesome. So the sale represents 70 titles and dozens of game characters. So it looks like Interplay is going to finally be going away.
Ooh, does that mean Vector Man will be released? Because I did like Vector Man, and I think that was Interplay.
Could possibly be. That was if it was Interplay, it was one of their lower. That was one of their more niche titles, cult following titles. I mean, I remember at the end of the Sega Genesis days.
Yeah, that was Sega Genesis.
I understand. I liked it myself at the end of the Sega Genesis games, but it didn't stick as well as Earthworm Jim or Descent.
On Sega Genesis?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Damn right.
Well, Sonic's on life support as it is.
Well, that's all I played on Sega. Just
What
hours
was,
and
what
hours
was the name of that
and
title game where
hours.
Sonic's like, well, we released it on time.
Mighty Number 9.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we released it on time.
Yeah. So, I think that's
pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Do you have anything, Boss Pander?
I like Sonic.
You like Sonic?
Yes.
Okay.
I especially like making him stand there and stomp his foot.
Well, apparently there was a fan-made Sonic that got released. That's supposed to be like a 3D world Sonic. That's in theory done right. From what I'm hearing.
As long as he doesn't fall in love with a human, I'm good.
No, I think it's a lot of people are saying this kind of like what Sonic in a 3D environment should be, such as you actually had to run to get up to speed and everything else, and you don't have speed pads and camera angles. I think actually work because it wasn't made by the Sonic team. So that's there was a fan-made Sonic that was talked about some of this last week.
Cool.
I don't have too much information.
You should bring it up next time.
Well, we'll see what goes on, but we're starting to hit the fall season, which means we're going to get bombarded with releases of electronics. We're going to get and games. That's
so basically my money's going out the window.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, holidays coming up.
This is me going, take my money.
Yep. And we're going to see, because I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of hardware talk coming up because holiday season. Yeah,
good.
The fall is a big time for releases.
Actually, I might be getting new graphics cards soon, so I might actually talk about that.
Well,
for the holidays.
Yes.
I would like more of those.
More pop figures.
Yeah.
Well,
say it right. It's their Beanie Babies of this generation.
Sad but true.
Well, before the Beanie Babies, there were
Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah, and Cabbage Patch Kids.
But these
okay.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So this has been the GACC podcast for the week. If you like us, go ahead and like and subscribe.
Bark too if you want.
Yeah, bark too if you want. I mean, we're getting lots of barking.
What?
Okay.
Am I supposed to stop the dogs from barking?
Yes, please go get them.
Thank you for your time.
Down there. There's a little subscribe button.
Please subscribe, like, and share.
Yes, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week and see what's going on. You all have a great evening.
Now you say Halo's coming out with something. I'm like, that's great. People are going to be happy about that. Not me, but people are going to be happy about that.
Says the man that likes the new Doom that plays like Halo.
Ooh. You don't want to get me started.